Tonight's DJNTV show is sponsored in part by Electro Voice, DJ Event Planner, ADJ, NLFX Professional, Promo Only, and DJNTV Insiders.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the PHDJ podcast. This is Mike.
And this is Joe.
What's going on, Joe? How are you?
Welcome back.
You know, I always forget in situations like this, we have doled out weekly shows, so it's not like to the listener we haven't been quote-unquote gone, but you and I have not sat in front of the microphone face-to-face for a couple weeks.
That's true.
And meanwhile, you've done a ton of traveling, and so have I.
You surely have.
Let's
have a think tank recap.
Well, you know what happens in think tanks stays in think tanks, so I can only brush with a very broad stroke.
Well, how about just?
But it was a good week. It was a fun week. Long Beach, California.
There you go. Give us the high-level overview that we saw on social media. How about that?
Long Beach is a great town.
Okay.
I enjoyed that, and I enjoyed getting together with a lot of my DJ brethren and
sisterin.
What is there a female version of brethren? I always get stuck on that. But yes, we do have some great females in Think Tank as well. So it's great seeing everybody. But education wise and stuff that was shared, I'm not allowed to say in this format.
The ship thing looked cool. That ship or whatever, that looked cool.
I gotta tell you, I had no idea. I had seen on the schedule that the last night dinner was on the Queen Mary or something like that. Queen Mary.
Yeah.
And all I knew was a boat, and I'm not good on boats. I noticed you were rocking the boats all week. I get seasick. Right. So I was actually talking to Kelly that afternoon saying, yeah, I'm stressed because if I get seasick or whatever. And then meanwhile I show up, I didn't know the Queen Mary was like this 100-year-old historic boat that is in dry dock. It didn't go anywhere.
Oh, it didn't go anywhere.
No, it didn't leave. It's in dry dock. The thing would probably sink as soon as they put it out there. But yes, it was a great relief. I actually texted Kelly on the way. I was like, oh my God, thank God I'm not going to be seasick. Right. It's basically just like this floating hotel.
That's cool, man. It looked cool,
it was very cool. I felt like I was on the Titanic.
Yeah, man. I saw some of the pictures.
100-year-old ship. It was really great. Yeah.
I saw some of your pictures. Very cool, man.
And by the way, many think tankers said to send their best.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Good.
Many did. Many said,
F. Joe Bunn.
F. Joe Bunn. But,
no problem.
But many of them said say hello to Joe.
I'll slap them in the mouth. Otherwise.
Yeah. I'll give you names off the end. So we should, I texted you this over the weekend. We got our first workshop sign up. So
this is when I want to have the sound effects like they have on Stern.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you to John Cox for signing up. I'm connected with him on Facebook. Yeah. He actually sent us a message through our website asking us a couple questions and thanking us for the knowledge.
I do.
And it was funny. I was going to reply to him, hey, I'm glad you enjoyed the show. Have you thought about the workshop? But then I looked on my PayPal, which is how these sign-ups come in, and he had signed up. So thank you, John. John
official.
Is our first it's official. It's on like Donkey Kong.
It
so
is.
now we have to start promoting and make sure that it's not just me, you, and John sitting in a room. John would love that. That would be intensive education.
Hey, you would get it all. The good, the bad, the ugly.
Any questions you have, John, you would get answered.
It's kind of like when they flew us out to that conference. I'm not going to name the conference.
Well, no, you can say it was what was it? LDI. Yeah. There was one seminar where Joe and I are sitting on the panel, and I think there were three
No. It wasn't a panel. It was supposed to be a seminar.
You and I were supposed to do a seminar.
Co-seminar,
and
right.
we're sitting behind this table with three people in the room.
And two of them were badge checkers.
Maybe the saddest moment of my speaking career. Yeah. But that was also the week that the Mets were in the postseason, so I enjoyed it.
You were in Vegas for that.
I was in Vegas for that.
Oh,
so
God.
Before I get into the main topic I noticed you put up a picture of your new EV Evolves.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And since Electro Voice is a sponsor,
yes,
I would ask this question anyway, but spend some time. Have you done a gig with them yet?
Well, I've been using them black ones forever, so I just basically swap colors. So yes, I for the size of event that I do, Mike, and it's very similar.
If you're watching this,
there we are.
I took a picture. I took a screenshot.
There you
go. Very
go.
Sexy look. Joe.
Hey, thanks. I went next door to the other office, and the receptionist in there. I was like, this is going to sound real weird, but can you come out here and take a picture of me with this speaker?
That's very
She was
cool.
like, yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, so I've been using the Evolve 50s for, I don't know, 8 months, 9 months. And for the things that you and I do, Mike, we do very similar type events. I mean, I assume you do about 150 people on a weekend for a wedding.
150 is kind of it's topic. It's typical. It's I sometimes more, sometimes less, but yeah.
It's great for that, and usually the size rooms I do about 150, 200 people. Great system, goes together easy. Get lots of compliments on the look of it, and as you know, I have the white fiberglass booth that we build.
I was going to say, so the combination of your DJ table, which is what's it called? What's
Vision DJ Designs. The command center
DJ
is
Design,
that.
Command center. But so the combination of that and now your white Evolves, that's going to be a hot look.
It's gonna be a hot look. I'll take some pictures and post them tonight because I actually have a corporate gig this afternoon for a rental company. Yeah,
do that.
Excited.
Love to see them.
Yeah,
very cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear how they sound and cranking them up and everything else. So tip our cap to EV for putting that. So apparently, what was the thing? It was them producing the white version.
The white, right? So Jan, I think, was actually instrumental in kind of talking them into doing it, from what I understand. And so I remember in Vegas in March, Mike Dussault, who's kind of my contact there, and he's one of the guys who's been at EV for a long time. You'll see him at all the trade shows doing the demos and things. He'll be in Atlantic City, actually, Mike. Do you know Mike Dussault?
I think so, yeah.
Make sure to just reintroduce yourself to him. Super cool guy. Anyway, he'll be out there in Atlantic City in a week or two with you guys. And anyway, he walked it out on stage, the prototype in March. And literally, I'm at my seat texting him like, "Where is my white speaker, bitch?"
Right.
Like, I didn't say bitch, but I was like, I need my speakers.
I got to get it. So you finally got it in. And I saw Jan. I put up a post on social.
He did.
I guess the first ones got delivered.
Yeah, I think he got his actually, and he was still in California. But he and I, were some of the first people because I apparently they didn't even get them in at EV in Minnesota before we did because the distro center is in South Carolina. So it just kind of went up the coast like that.
Right. All right.
Anyway,
very cool.
Very cool.
Very cool. So my main topic, Joe, that I wanted to talk about today, and this sounds like a generational thing, even though you're only a few years younger than me.
A little bit.
I want you, as somebody who utilizes this technology, to explain to me about stories, about Instagram stories, about Facebook stories. Do you use Facebook stories or just Instagram?
Mostly just Instagram.
I do not. I've never done a story. I've never. Why do you use it? What's the advantage? What do I need to do to use it? I'm assuming that some listeners out there are using them, some aren't.
Some are, some aren't. Yeah.
Is it just for personal? Is it business? What? Tell me about stories.
I mean, I'll speak of it in just broad strokes real quickly. I feel like, Mike, that the main reason for Instagram stories or why it maybe came out was, one, it was a competition against Snapchat, which refused itself to get bought, by Facebook/Instagram. But two, I use it for any sort of throwaway picture. So I want to post it, but I don't really care in 6 months or a year if I look back and it's not on my main feed. Because, again, it expires in 24 hours, right?
Yeah, so when you say 6 months, 6 days.
No,
you can't look back.
Yeah. You can click a button in your settings, Mike, so that it will still save to your camera roll.
Okay.
Because every once in a while, something I think is throwaway, one of my kids or whatever, I'll look back through my camera footage or my photos on my iPhone and find something that was actually really cool.
Okay.
But it really helps you to, and you're not guilty of it, but some people are just, and I've unfollowed them before, just guilty of overposting. So sometimes if you're at an event, like an all day event, like say you and Kelly went to concert in the park and there were 6 bands and there were thousands of dogs and random breeds, and you just kind of wanted to almost document that day, that would be great for the story. Whereas the main feed picture would be you, Kelly, and Mia, in front of a fountain or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, that's the one that you're going to get the most engagement on. That's the one that you want to keep forever. The other ones are kind of just throwaways. It's almost like journaling the day, if you will.
So let's talk about that engagement thing, because I think that that's critical. Do you get more engagement with stories than I get with posts?
No, absolutely not. I'll get a couple of comments on a story post, whereas if I post something, for example, like you do of your family or of your dog, you'll get a string of comments, or especially if you ask for it. Like I've gotten a little bit better now at asking for engagement, or even on that most recent Earn Your PHDJ post.
On the workshop.
I said, how's your community or something? So I'll, you try and ask a question, or even sometimes go so far as to ask for people to like the photograph.
Mm-hmm.
But no, my stories, unless it's really funny or I'm just totally savage on somebody's shoes or something like that, like those are the kind of things that people might comment on. And again, I'm only seeing that, Mike. It's not
it's not open.
Public.
If I'm following your story, I can't see Nate Nelson's comment on it.
Exactly.
Only you see that.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Right.
So it's more like he's just messaging me like that he thinks that's funny or something.
Right.
Business wise, and this definitely is true because I've talked to several people in the social media realm or world. It does help when you have consistent things on your story to move your main feed to the top of people's pages.
Okay.
So it does help in the algorithm to move your picture up so more people see it. So you'll see that lately, so on a given weekend, and I encourage people to do this, and I even really, Mike, you and I have talked ad nauseum here on the show about how important monthly or at least 6-8 times a year it is to meet with your staff.
Regular meetings. Correct. I don't say monthly anymore. I just say regular.
Me too.
Right.
Regular meetings I always that's one of our ongoing
one of the messages that you have for your staff.
Is, hey guys, please keep adding to the story on the weekend. And if you look, now July and August are slow here. I think it's a little slower up there as well. It's hot, summertime. Slow here for weddings, but if you look on a good weekend, like say September, early September, right after Labor Day, is when we kind of kick off the fall wedding season. You'll see, maybe 12, 15. I mean, it almost looks like dots, where it's just post. And I'll usually tell the guy to mention who they are because obviously they're all logged into the Bunn DJ Company account. So it'll say DJ Mark getting ready for guests at the Merriman Wynn House or something like that. It might be a little video pan of the yard or something like that. Next post might be DJ Randy, rocking the dance floor at Barclay Villa, blah, blah, blah. So it just goes on and on and on. So I encourage people to do that, if nothing else, to try and get the picture that does, come up in the main feed to show up higher. And I do think it, gives people that follow the company page, especially people that possibly are going to hire us, other vendors, a really good look at what goes on kind of behind the scenes of a typical Saturday here at the company. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Rather than just one picture, some pro image, that you pulled from Elite Images from 2 weeks ago that was especially cool. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I really do think it's important, Mike. I mean, if you and you do just like I do, you trust your guys, not to be putting up nonsense.
Well, so that was going to be my question. Yeah. I know people have asked me that. As a multi-app owner, you've given every one of your DJs access to the company account, not just their own personal account.
Correct.
And has that ever backfired on you even once? And you can be vague if you want. Don't tell but you've never had a guy post an inappropriate picture or accidentally think he was posting to his personal, and meanwhile it was to his. You've never had that happen?
No, I've had people post to the feed instead of the story, and it just didn't. The picture wasn't very good, so I noticed it and just took it down. And I texted them and said, "Hey, man,
can you do that if they post it to the story?"
Yeah. Oh, wait, say that again now.
So if they accidentally posted to the story and it was inappropriate or just something you didn't like, would you bother taking it down, or it's going to be gone in 24 hours anyway? So
I would take it down.
So I bother.
Yeah, if it was inappropriate.
And you can do that.
Oh, yeah. Or if it was like their kids or something like that, I'd be like, hey, man, you posted to the wrong account. But yeah, the only thing that's ever happened is somebody's posted on the main feed some kind of a behind the Serato screen shot of the dance floor, and I'm like, that's not main feed content there, buddy. I know that you didn't mean to do that, but
So that's a shot you'd rather see on your story.
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just not good enough. You know what I mean? Like, I think, especially you as a photography company owner, you know what's a good shot and what's not.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed on our business Instagram, and again, I haven't gotten involved in the story, so maybe this is a topic for my next DJ meeting. But I see every picture from every wedding that our studio shoots, and so and I love the fact that on Instagram you can only do 10 shots in what do they call it, an album or something like that.
Yeah.
So I've now begun putting up posts.
I'm just looking now.
So and so's wedding reception in 10 photos. And I try to tell the story of their day, not the whole day, but the party in 10 pictures. And I'll usually start it with their first dance, maybe even start it with a shot of the MC introducing them, some great party shots. And then if there's a finale shot, everybody on the dance floor waving or something like that, I'll end it with that. And I actually got a rare compliment from my wife the other day. She said, "Hey, I like that. The wedding reception in 10 pictures." So I kind of like that they restrict you to 10 pictures, because if not, I would put up 40,
a million,
and that could get boring. But right. So your point about those are professional pictures.
Yep.
So I shouldn't put those on my story. Those should be saved to the timeline.
Okay. So I was getting to this. So lately, we've been doing just different things on our feed. I think and if you go and look, you'll see a lot of little clips of me and Randy, or just a picture of me with like a boombox. Like, I got so tired of my own wedding pictures and other people's wedding pictures I was following, we started changing it up.
Okay.
And what we started doing now, Mike, in order to have content during the week on the story, is actually I just keep a running Dropbox from all the photographers that send me stuff from weddings we do. Randy will do like 2 or 3 pictures a day in the story, pro pictures.
Right.
So again, it just keeps the story going almost 24/7, if you will.
And by the way, if you're following this and you're interested in checking out what Joe was talking about,
correct.
his Instagram is Bunn DJ Co. CO.
And Mike is Elite Entertainment.
Elite Entertainment NJ.
Right.
So if you want to see what we're discussing and talking about, you can check that out.
It's important, guys. I mean, we can do episode after episode on Instagram. I mean, if you're, God forbid, if you're listening and you don't have an account and you're not posting 2 or 3 times a day, I'm guilty. I'll be honest with you, Mike. Of at one point, I thought that the more you posted, the better your engagement would be, and the more followers you get. It's not true. If you can,
quality over quantity.
Absolutely, 100% quality over quantity. If you can get 2 or 3 posts up a week, guys, and rock the story out, at least on the weekends when you're doing your gigs, people love the stories. Honestly, they watch it like TV now, and we'll get into on another episode, Mike, maybe the whole new update has IGTV, and I'll kind of get into that, but I think I really do think that's an episode in itself, but definitely, guys, I think with what we do as DJs, and it's such an interesting job, and it's so different than John Q CPA. No knocks against accountants out there, but it's just such an interesting thing, and so many people that follow you are A, DJs. I got tons of DJ followers. B, wedding vendors, or C, potential wedding clients or past wedding clients. Like, they love that behind the scenes stuff. They love to see other venues. They love to see pieces of weddings. And especially, I think you have an opportunity if you do have, kind of like Mike does, a 2-man show. If the second guy is kind of the mixer or the DJ, as Mike calls it, and one guy's the MC, or even if you have 3, I think, Mike, like if y'all do a bigger show with production, don't you take out screens and like a light
a lot
guy?
of times there's a third person on lighting tech or
and I see a lot of guys up there, in your market with several people. I think that one of their side roles can be like, listen, you're the scribe, if you will, at this event. You're the media capture guy, and give them the login and tell them to rock it out. So
stories should be video, photos, or both?
Both. Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I notice a lot of people with the photos, they put the text on it.
Yeah.
Is that something you
Yeah,
recommend?
I do.
Is that
I do. I like the text. There's little animated GIFs you can add to it. I mean, it's supposed to be silly. It's supposed to be fun. I mean, some people get super creative and artistic with those pictures. And again, I recommend, just in case you do want to save them, that there is a little tick box in the settings where it says, to save it to the photos, so it doesn't truly go away.
right?
We can also get.
I think that's my biggest challenge with the stories. When I heard they disappear in 24 hours, I said, well, why would I want to do that? Because maybe this is just my own vanity. I think everything I post is worth saving.
Right.
But so I just don't understand the advantage of putting something up that disappears in 24 hours.
Let me also make note of these things, Mike. So again, I'm sorry if you're where the hell's my camera? If you're
listening and not watching,
right? So Mike, you see, this is my personal account. You see those little yellow bubbles there?
Yes.
And so the beauty of that, and you'll see them on my company page as well. They're basically called highlights. And if you look on my company page, let me switch over there real quick. Sorry. I've got loves, weddings, playlists, decor, corporate events, and what was the last one? Private parties. So at the end of every day, I can go through the stories and I can add them to any of those little tabs.
Okay.
So that, like if you click right now, weddings, Mike, let's see.
So it's so funny. I just clicked on weddings.
Yeah.
So Steve has the best seat in the house.
I mean, that's from 18 weeks ago. If you look at the very top left, see, these are all, early. Yeah.
20 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right. 18 weeks. So these will be saved for perpetuity?
Exactly. Perpetuity. Perpetuity. Great word.
Good word.
So again, highly suggested that you do that. We can get into that another episode. But, Mike, you can get your graphic designer to make – I had somebody make me that little icon. So you could have, the royal blue and kind of yellow icon there.
Okay.
And it just uploads like a picture, and I can walk you through it. But but the highlights are nice. So it speaking to somebody like you that doesn't want it to be quote unquote a throwaway, it can be saved there. And again, clients can go back and access it. They can flip through all those weddings and go, oh, look at that. Look at the way they set up, the chairs in a circle at Merriman Wynn on the lawn for the ceremony instead of just aisles. I want to do that. And
again, is that something you can see? Can you see how many people have clicked on your weddings highlights?
I know you can on the story. Let me see if I can see more. Yeah, I can see seen by 303 people and exactly who saw it. So that very first one from 18 weeks.
And who set those highlights up? You did?
I did.
You set those categories up?
I had my graphic designer make them,
Got it.
And then I just kind of came up with those ideas. I probably need a couple other, I probably could have a ceremony one in there, just a ceremony one.
Well, you could populate them a little bit more because some of them aren't really populated that much. Okay, that's a great idea. Very cool.
Yeah.
So I was really surprised last week. I stayed in this hotel in Long Beach.
Yeah.
And I loved the fact there were those motivational signs all over the hotel. Joe already knows what I'm going to ask him.
I knew it.
And I loved that stuff. Every time I got off the elevator, there was a different sign telling me, make the most of the day, carpe diem. And so I took a picture of a few of them and I put them on Facebook and I said, I love this. And you said you hate that.
I said, how are we even friends?
Yeah. Well, okay. Do you really not like that stuff?
I don't, man. I don't know why.
And yet I thought you were a motivational. Because I wanted to end this show with give me a motivational quote, but is that not a thing for you?
Man, it's not. I don't know what it is, Mike. I don't know if it just freaks me out when people post them or when they have them on their walls when I go to their house. I don't know what it is, man.
It's funny. I have a love-hate relationship with it because my first business partner was a huge Tony Robbins guy. And so I had Tony Robbins shoved down my throat. And I don't think it really helped him because he was still pretty bitter and angry and a lot of other things. So I don't know that Tony Robbins really had an effect on him. So the whole motivational thing sometimes I push off against, but I do love quotes. Like to me, I've worked them into a lot of my seminars. That doesn't bother me with them.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you have a quote you'd like to share with our listeners?
You know what? I do. There was one that I've posted in the past. I mean, over the last 5 years, I think I posted one, and I just found it again, and I think it was this one, right? And it's not even a quote. I don't even know where it comes from. It's not, like Aristotle or whatever. It says, "Dear haters, I have so much more for you to be mad at. Just be patient."
See,
and
that's good.
But I was actually
that's typical you, because
yes.
you love the whole haters thing, and yeah.
So
I like that.
I posted it one day, and I promise you, Ainsley and I could have had a baby that week, and it would have gotten less likes than that quote that I posted.
Right.
People were just like, yes, as if I made it up, and I think I had to admit that I did not make that up.
Right.
How about you? Give me something to make me feel better.
I heard one recently that I really loved. Howard Stern was interviewing James Corden.
I love him.
And James Corden is the late night guy. He's He's the one famous for the carpool karaoke.
Sure.
And they were going over Corden's schedule. He tapes in L.A. He had flown to New York for something. He had flown to London for something. He was on his way back. And Stern was just saying, you must be exhausted. You must be burnt. And Corden said, it's a privilege to be exhausted doing what you love.
Oh, wow. I love that.
And it was just one of those, I mean, he just threw it out there. And I don't even think Stern heard it or responded to it. I actually rewound to make sure I got it right. And I was like, it is so true. We often complain and bitch about 4-gig weekends and everything else. And yeah, those can be a challenge, but we are doing what we love. Like you said earlier in this podcast, thank God you weren't an accountant or something like that. We actually toured the QSC factory at cool. Think Tank, and it was cool. But I got to be honest with you, I also saw a lot of people whose job 8 hours a day is basically standing in the same 4x4, assembling something, putting this thing on this thing for 8 hours a day.
My dad owns a factory,
Yeah, and I thought I just couldn't have. I don't think I would last 2 weeks in that job.
You wouldn't last a week, man. Me neither.
So I thought about that quote, and I just thought, the next time I bitch and complain about working too hard or being exhausted, I will remember that. It really is a privilege. To find something that you love in life is hard enough. And then B, if you're so successful at it that you're working your ass off and you haven't had a day off in a while and you're exhausted, consider it a privilege. Because lots of people find something they love, but then they can't be successful. They wish that they were exhausted. So anyway, I thought that was,
that is
so,
a good one.
Here's what we'd like to ask. We get a lot of engagement with this podcast. A lot of people comment on it and share it. Please leave a comment with a quote that motivates you, with something that you would like to share with us and share with other listeners, just something that you've heard or seen on a wall, written somewhere, take a picture and piss Joe off. But just share that if you would, because I'd love to make this a positive energy kind of thing.
Please. We'd appreciate it. Put it in the comments under when Mike lists this podcast or mine, either one. Again, shout out, by the way, I don't know if you caught the last image I posted before the day ended yesterday. Got a ride from Park City to Salt Lake City.
Yeah, so you saw
Foray.
Rob.
Yeah, it was with Rob Foray
cool.
and also Jordan Nelson, DJ FaZe, and
cool.
2 Utah DJs. And we just had like 1 hour to get in the car and talk about business. And I get in the car. And Rob cranks the car up, and I hear my voice. So he was playing the podcast, and I was like,
thank you, Rob.
So it was very cool.
All right, let's put a bow on this one.
Yes,
Thanks,
sir.
everybody, for listening. If you are interested in the workshop, remember, you're not the first one to sign up because we've already got one. Go to PHDJworkshop.com. Take a look at all the details.
Yep.
Join us at Mobile Beat in March and stick around for our workshop. You won't be sorry.
Can't wait to see you guys in March in Vegas. Later.
Have a good one.